In this video, we'll be taking a look at two college football games happening on January 2nd, 2025, and providing you with free team picks and total picks for each one of those games, so 6 picks in total. Welcome back to Cash Out Sports. Let's dive right into it. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and to click the bell icon to get notified as soon as these videos get released, so that you have more time to plan out your bets as we provide these videos on a daily basis. I can guarantee that you'll have all the important information that you'll need on these two college football games after fully watching this video. One more thing before we start: if you would like to gain access to our best exclusive sports picks to take your journey to the next level, then check out our Patreon in the link down below, where we offer our best single picks, parlay picks, and much more. Now let's get started. Notre Dame versus Georgia. The college football playoff quarterfinals showcase a compelling contest between two prominent programs, one of the nation's few remaining independents and a perennial Southeastern Conference powerhouse. On Wednesday night, the number 7 ranked Notre Dame Fighting Irish will clash with the number 2 ranked Georgia Bulldogs in the All-State Sugar Bowl, with the winner earning a coveted spot in the semifinals. Notre Dame earned their place with a decisive 27-17 home victory over number 10 Indiana during the first round on December 20th. Exceeding expectations as 6.5-point favorites. Georgia, on the other hand, secured their berth in dramatic fashion, defeating number 2 Texas 22-19 in overtime during the Southeastern Conference Championship game on December 7th. Historically, the Bulldogs have dominated the series between these teams, maintaining a perfect 3-0 record, including their most recent victory, a tightly contested 23-17 home win on September 21, 2019. The Georgia Bulldogs have put together an 11-2 season, including a 6-2 record in Southeastern Conference play, underlined by a gritty overtime win against Texas in their last outing. Despite facing adversity after losing their starting quarterback just before halftime and trailing 6-3 at the break, Georgia showcased resilience and tenacity to prevail. In that game, they were outgained in total yardage 389-277, but turned the tables by winning the turnover battle 3-2 and converting 5 of their 15 third down attempts. Over the course of the season, Georgia's victories have come against formidable opponents, including Clemson, Kentucky, Auburn, Mississippi State, Florida, Tennessee, UMass, and Georgia Tech, while their only setbacks were to Ole Miss and Alabama. Offensively, the Bulldogs have averaged an impressive 34 points per game, bolstered by 284.6 passing yards and 129.2 rushing yards per game. Defensively, they have limited opponents to 20 points per game, exemplifying the balanced approach that has been the foundation of their success. Notre Dame, meanwhile, enters the game with a stellar 12-1 record, highlighted by a strong performance in their 27-17 win over Indiana in the opening round of the college football playoff. The Irish controlled the game from the outset, building a commanding 27-3 lead before allowing 2 late scores. They outgained Indiana 394-278 in total yardage, matched the Hoosiers in turnovers at 1 apiece, and were efficient on third downs, converting 7 of 13 opportunities. Notre Dame's season has featured a series of high-profile victories, including wins over Texas Agricultural and Mechanical, Purdue, Miami, Ohio, Louisville, Stanford, Georgia Tech, Navy, Florida State, Virginia, Army, and USC, with their lone loss coming against Northern Illinois. Offensively, the Fighting Irish have averaged an impressive 40 points per game, fueled by 196.8 passing yards and 222.4 rushing yards per game. Defensively, they have been among the nation's best, allowing just 14 points per game, ranking 3rd nationally. Despite what the final score might suggest, Notre Dame handled Indiana comfortably in the first round. Dominating for most of the game, the Irish outgained the Hoosiers, converted 7 of their 13 third down attempts, and averaged an efficient 5.5 yards per carry. They extended their winning streak to 11 games with this victory, but questions remain about whether their schedule has adequately prepared them for the physical challenge posed by Georgia. According to ESPN, Notre Dame's strength of schedule ranks 39th nationally, a respectable figure but not on par with Georgia's top-rated schedule. Georgia's defense, while not as dominant as it was during their back-to-back national championship seasons, remains one of the country's elite units. Currently ranked in the top 20 in scoring defense and top 35 in total defense, the Bulldogs also excel in creating disruption, ranking in the top 20 for sacks and top 30 for tackles for loss. This defensive pressure, particularly with Michael Williams back at full strength, could force Notre Dame quarterback Riley Leonard into difficult situations. Leonard has shown vulnerabilities under pressure, completing just 42.5% of passes and committing 4 turnover-worthy plays while producing only 2 big-time throws when under duress. While Leonard's ability to extend plays as a runner is a strength, Georgia's defense has been well tested against mobile quarterbacks like Cade Klubnik, Jalen Milroe, Jackson Dart, and Haynes King this season. One of the most significant concerns for Georgia heading into this game is their quarterback situation. With Carson Beck sidelined for the remainder of the season due to a UCL injury, sophomore backup gunner Stockton will take the reins. Stockton's collegiate experience is limited, but he showcased his mobility in the second half of the SEC championship, adding a new dynamic to Georgia's offense. Playing alongside standout running backs Trevor Etienne and Nate Frazier, Stockton is expected to lead a run-heavy attack. This strategy could work in Georgia's favor as Notre Dame's rush defense has struggled in recent weeks, ranking 94th in PPA per rush allowed and 115th in line yards since Week 9. Additionally, Georgia holds a considerable advantage in special teams, ranking 7th nationally per SP+, while Notre Dame sits at 104th. While a backup quarterback may initially make Notre Dame an appealing choice, Georgia's experienced coaching staff and extra preparation time give the Bulldogs a decisive edge. So the Georgia Bulldogs money line is our full game side pick. Notre Dame's defense has been one of the best in the nation this season, ranking first in passing efficiency defense and turnovers gained while allowing only 14 points per game, the third best mark nationally. Their ability to disrupt passing plays and contain quarterbacks should help limit Georgia's offensive output. On offense, Notre Dame has developed a more balanced attack in recent weeks but continues to rely heavily on its ground game, which ranks 11th nationally with 222.4 rushing yards per game. While Riley Leonard has made strides in connecting with his receivers, Notre Dame's passing offense remains modest, ranked 100th nationally. Georgia's defense, though not as overwhelming as Notre Dame's, remains formidable, particularly in its ability to pressure quarterbacks and stifle running games. Stockton's mobility may provide Georgia's offense with some unpredictability, but the unit's lack of cohesion without its starting quarterback could hinder its effectiveness. The Bulldogs have stayed under the point total in 7 of their 13 games this season, including 5 of 7 games played away from Athens and 2 of 3 neutral site contests. Notre Dame's elite scoring defense, combined with the uncertainty surrounding Stockton's performance in his first career start, suggests a low-scoring affair. Both teams are likely to face challenges against strong opposing defenses, limiting offensive production. Considering Notre Dame's ability to stifle quarterbacks like Curtis Rourke in their first-round matchup, this game is unlikely to feature significant offensive fireworks. Under the projected total is our full game total pick. Duke versus Ole Miss. The Tax Slayer Gator Bowl will showcase an intriguing matchup between the Duke Blue Devils and the 14th-ranked Ole Miss Rebels. This game marks the first ever encounter between these two programs, adding a layer of novelty and excitement to the event. Duke concluded their season tied for 4th place in the Atlantic Coast Conference, finishing on a high note with 3 consecutive wins. Meanwhile, Ole Miss also secured a 4th-place tie in the Southeastern Conference and earned their national ranking of 14th due to their challenging strength of schedule. Duke started the season impressively, securing 5 straight victories. However, their momentum faltered with losses to Georgia Tech, SMU, and Miami across their next 4 games. Despite these setbacks, the Blue Devils bounced back with wins against NC State, Virginia Tech, and Wake Forest to close out their regular season. Their November 30th clash against Wake Forest saw them trailing 17-10 at the end of the 3rd quarter, but they rallied with 13 unanswered points to secure a 23-17 victory. On the Ole Miss side, the Rebels began their season strongly with 4 straight wins before encountering a rough patch with losses to Kentucky and LSU in a 3-game span. They rebounded impressively, going 4-1 in their final stretch with victories over Oklahoma, Arkansas, Georgia, and Mississippi State, their only setback coming against Florida. In their November 29th meeting with Mississippi State, Ole Miss held a narrow 3-point lead at halftime but dominated the second half, pulling away with a 9-0 scoring run to clinch a 26-14 victory. Duke enters the Gator Bowl having enjoyed a successful regular season but faces significant challenges due to key absences. The Blue Devils will be without their starting quarterback and running back, forcing them to rely heavily on backups. Moreover, their victories this season came against unranked teams, indicating they may have benefited from a less demanding schedule. On the other hand, Ole Miss is also dealing with player opt-outs, though their star quarterback, Jackson Dart, is expected to play. Head coach Lane Kiffin has openly expressed his belief that the Rebels deserve consideration for the college football playoff, which could motivate the team to make a statement against a Duke squad perceived as overachieving. This will be the the first Gator Bowl appearance for both teams, adding an extra layer of historical significance to the contest. The teams share a common opponent in Wake Forest, albeit at different points in the season. Ole Miss dominated the Deacons in a lopsided 40-6 victory in mid-September, while Duke narrowly defeated their Atlantic Coast Conference rival 23-17 in their final regular season game. Considering roster strengths and weaknesses, Ole Miss appears to have the upper hand, especially with their starting quarterback playing his final game and a full complement of offensive weapons. In contrast, Duke's defense, despite being among the best in passing defense, has experienced significant turnover due to the transfer portal. Offensively, the Blue Devils are down to their third-string quarterback, a daunting position against the aggressive Ole Miss defensive front. The Rebels are likely to exploit this advantage, making it difficult for Duke to stay competitive. So the Ole Miss Rebels to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. Lane Kiffin, known for his offensive acumen, has a proven leader in quarterback Jackson Dart, supported by a high-scoring team. However, despite their offensive capabilities, Ole Miss has only exceeded the total in 2 games this season, a 76-point outburst against Furman and a 63-point performance against Arkansas. Their other games consistently fell under the total, thanks in part to their underrated defense, which limits opponents' scoring opportunities. Similarly, Duke has gone under the total in 2 of their last 3 games and now faces additional challenges with a depleted roster, including their backup quarterback. Both teams will have had over a month without game action before this matchup, which could lead to a sluggish start as players shake off rust. However, Duke's offense poses a significant concern, as the team will rely on inexperienced players stepping into key roles for the first time. This disadvantage is compounded by the strength of the Ole Miss defense, which ranks among the nation's best. While the Rebels are capable of scoring 40 or more points in this game, Duke's offensive struggles and reliance on a run-heavy strategy to control the clock will likely keep the overall score low. Given the combination of time off, adjustments, and Duke's offensive limitations, a slow start and low-scoring game are likely outcomes. Ole Miss has consistently hit the under this season, and Duke will likely aim to extend drives and manage the clock to keep the game within reach. Under the projected total is our full game total pick. That's all for now, so if you have any other games you would like reviewed, then leave a comment down below with the game you would like analyzed. Subscribe to our channel, leave a like on this video, and we'll get to it as soon as we possibly can. We would also love to hear your opinion on the picks presented to you in this video, whether you agree or disagree with them, so leave a comment down below and do let us know.